Hello again, guys and girls, the Gears of War community. Welcome back to another Gears of War 3 gameplay commentary. The gameplay you are watching today is an old King of the gnasher gameplay. It started out as a 10-minute gameplay, but I've cut it down to about 7 minutes long because I don't need 10 minutes to talk about this kind of subject, and I really don't want to spend, the amount of time it would take just to render out a 10-minute video. But what I wanted to talk about today is the future of the gnasher shotgun and what it's looking like to be balanced like in Gears of War Judgment. So what it might be like to use that weapon, what you might have to do in movement terms while using that weapon, because if you look back at Gears of War 1 there was a lot more movement compared to Gears of War 3, or at least by the professional players, because these are the kind of players who know exactly what you need to do in order to use the weapon effectively. A lot of players who are trying to play in the flashy style of ways, they still wall bounce everywhere they can in certain terms. So in the professional way, I do think that in Gears of War 3 the gnasher enforced less movement than Gears of War 1 and Gears of War 2, just simply because the shots land a lot more. The gnasher just seems a lot more powerful, and hard aims seem to be the predominant use of the weapon. Now, let's go into what it's looking to be like. I've put together a little kind of thought of what it might be like from what I've seen on the internet so far, and what is most likely the direction they're going to go with. So what I think is going to happen is, first off, the spread is going to be made wider, because in Gears of War 3 the hard aims were so powerful that they could down you from quite a long distance away. Let's just say that, from about mid-range, let's say. I don't really have a problem with this too much, because all the other weapons are fairly overpowered as well. Pretty much every weapon on the game is overpowered in some form or some way. That's why they're dropping the power of all the weapons in Judgment, so they can balance it out properly. But yeah, they are increasing the spread of the gnasher, so it will be slightly more close range, so that at mid-range you will have to do at least another shot, and to hit a full spread of the weapon you will have to be probably hard aiming at a good few feet away just to actually do that. So I think that first off, that will make people do a lot more movement, that will make people move a lot more. That's what I'm trying to get across. Because basically, if the spread is going around people a lot more, if you're not hitting that full spread as much as you might be, and you're having to get a lot closer, then the risk is a lot higher of getting one-bombed. And if you're going to get one-bombed, then you've got to keep moving around that player to actually get the good shots in and not get hit by their massive kind of chunking weapon. But other than that, there's a few other things. The actual damage of the weapon is being brought down, or not necessarily being brought down, but obviously the active damage of all weapons is being taken away for good reason, and this will obviously contribute to making fights a lot longer. So unless you're steam training into people, it will make the fights last a lot longer, because simply you'll have to do probably twice the amount of shots, considering that they're doing both widening the spread and bringing down or taking away active damage. I'm fairly sure that it will go to about 3 or 4 shots would be a natural kind of good fight. But my opinion on this whole thing is that I do like some of the things it will force people to do. I like the idea that the gnasher will, unless you're getting one-bombed, will be more difficult to use. And simply because it will be more difficult to use, the better players will come out more in the community. It won't be so deniable as it is in Gears of War 3. Less people will sit back and say, oh yeah, you're just a hard aiming noob who can't hit, a one-bomb or some shit like that. The fact is that the game will become a lot more focused on the actual skillful players rather than the people running around doing flashy stuff, because standing there and getting hard aims on someone doesn't look so good. So I think this would be more enticing to new players to get into the kind of full, I want to say, learn how to use the gnasher properly, because that's what I'm trying to get at here. People in Gears of War 3, in public at least, don't seem to want to use the gnasher as properly as possible. They want to be wall bouncing everywhere because it seems more fun. And I think that will become a little bit more of the norm in Gears of War Judgment, simply because of the power of the gnasher being brought down. And then, obviously, there's the problem with steam training. Now, the fact is, when you bring the power of the weapon down, they're not going to get rid of the one bomb. They're not going to get rid of the fact that you can charge straight into someone, be inside them, pull the trigger and blow them away. So the problem I have here is that will entice more players to do this. And in Gears of War 3, if someone charged at me, I'd get a quick 2-shot down and then wouldn't have to worry about that. But in Gears of War Judgment, that'll be even harder as well, because I won't be able to get the 2-shot down. I'll have to slide out of the way of their shots and things like that. And maybe even get around them and 2-piece them from behind or something like that. I do that quite a lot when people steam train me on this game, simply because it's something to annoy the people who are annoying me. Because if you're going to charge at me and do something stupid like that, which just ruins the whole idea of having a gnasher fight and doesn't even work in a proper match, then I'm going to do something like 2-piece you to piss you off. Simple as that. But anyway, guys, that's just my general opinion on what the gnasher will be like in the next game. I'm hoping that this will promote more skilled play out of all areas of the game, not just competitive. But leave me your opinion down in the comment section. But for now, guys, thank you for watching, and goodbye.